Hey folks, welcome back to TIMBERBORN and our creators Let's Play with version 1.0 of the game. If you're curious about this custom version of the map, it is available on my Discord. There is a link down below for it. And it's the pinned post in the TIMBERBORN channel. I've been around and done a bit of faffing with automation. I've faffed around and set these up, and then someone pointed out the very sensible option, which for some reason I didn't think of. Why don't I just put sluices in to control this? That would be very sensible. And I kind of like that idea. So at some point we'll be doing that. There is the minor issue that I don't want to let all the water out, and currently we maybe need to focus on getting some resources sorted. So I'm going to leave it for now, and basically it's set up so that signal metal blocks. Do I really name it that? No, signal main pond depth. I need to fix that for a second. I'm not sure what signal metal blocks is. Let's grab that. I think it might have been something else. So let's discard that. Let's save that. Let's fix this. 1 second, folks. Bear with me. Script. So we can do that. Discard, delete, save. So what it does is it checks if the main pond is less than 2.1 meters deep, which is what we needed for the irrigation of the pine forest. If it is, and it's not temperate, and there's water in this bit, it will activate this and pump into here. If it's deep enough, or it's temperate, or there's no water in here, it won't. And then this one is controlled off of a yet to be built stream gauge here. And so if there is water here, which is this one, which is this bit, if there's water here, and if there isn't water here, which is this one, so if there's less than 0.3 water in this bit, and there's greater than 0.1 water in this bit, and it's not the temperate season, it'll pump water into here. And then we've also got the inverse. We've also got these stream gauges, which will let water through anyway. So if this is full, this shouldn't turn on until this is emptied a bit. So yeah, that's how that's been automated. But we can put stream gauges or sluices in here and use those, but I might automate them anyway so that they're not letting water out of here when it's the temperate season. And I've just been around and removed all of the assign remove workers thing so that things pause instead of. And if you watched the last Timberpunk series, you'll have seen in that I've done some stuff where if certain key buildings are low on resources, they get assigned priority by haulers. I've done that here, particularly with the smelters, so that if it's low on scrap metal or logs, it gets assigned priority. And then if it's got stock, the priority drops off, because that seems sensible. Same with the wood workshops. And then I've given rules to the printing presses, so that those get paused. Over here, I have given rules to... No, I've not changed those rules, but we need more paper mills, because we're very low on paper. But what I want to focus on first, having waffled at you for 5 minutes, is sorting out more of our wood problem. Yeah, I have a wood problem. Don't laugh. It's slightly embarrassing, I know. One of you spotted it in episode 15 or episode 40, 2 videos ago. Anyway, let's try and work on my wood problem. Stop laughing. So what I thought would be sensible is to come and basically cut this back and this one, because that should irrigate a decent size area here. So we can get some more wood out of this bit. So we're going to put in, as I said, a bunch of smaller forests, because we can make use of that mod that some of you like, some of you don't like, that I like a lot, which is automation, and generally it's not that disliked. I think some of you just find some of the process of enabling it boring. Some of you are using it and finding it hard to use, I think, because if you're not naturally used to scripting and stuff, it's a complicated mod to get to grips with. I get that. So we're going to do that. We are going to need to be able to get to these various other pods. Now, we've got a pathway here anyway. So I've never done an underwater bridge. I don't think. But why not? Hey, why not? Then we're going to come through here. I'm going to put a ladder to there. The reason that we're coming through that randomly is I'm going to put a lumberjack there. We're going to cut down these trees before one of you suggests folktales, no mangroves. And we're going to do that. We're then going to run a path slightly higgledy and indeed piggledy. Good English phrase there for you. Over to here, and we're going to put in a one of these guys. But we want to get it some. I want it further than that. I don't want it to be on irrigated land, but we might do the same and chop some of this back as well. So let's get that going and we'll see how we get on. We've also got over here the rest of this going in, which we're going to put big forest in. Over here we need to put in our food production, so really that's around wheat, so it's bread and maple pastries. I was looking at some of the achievements, and there's an achievement for just having maple pastries as food. I don't think we're going to be doing that on here, at least maybe not till the end, because you have to only have maple pastries as the food. But what we are going to do is throw in a couple of grist mills. I think that'll be plenty. Couple of grist mills there. We'll then put the 2 bakeries there, because I think a bakery for each will be plenty. Do we want 3 bakeries? There is no reason we couldn't do a 3rd bakery. We could do 4 bakeries. 2 bakeries are 3 buys, aren't they? So now let's go crazy, folks. Let's go crazy. And then I'm going to use this area for storage. Obviously, we've got a big wheat store here with ample amounts of wheat. So we would put in, we want wheat flour. We might need to do a multi-level storage, actually, because there's not as much space as I thought there. So we want some maple syrup. And I'm going to need to significantly up our production of maple. Ooh, here's a question. Here's a question. do we plant some maple trees over here so that we have local farm-to-table maple syrup? So what I'm thinking is oh, now I want to do things way neater. Yeah, I want to do things neater now, but we don't really have the resources. So, yep. We're going to do things neater. So what we're going to do is, instead of doing all of that, going to do a vertical power shaft tunnel down. Yes. Down. One more. There. We might need to do some more tunneling to actually be able to do this, or we just rip out stuff and go to there, to there. Yeah, that's fine. Delete that. Let's go all the way to there. Vertical power shaft tunnel. Shaft tunnel. Power shaft. Now the problem is we can't get to some of this. The lazy way to achieve that is no. What we'll do is we'll blast it out with dynamite first and then put dirt back. Not uber efficient, but more efficient than having to build a tunnel by the side of it for the beavers to get to. So then we can put dirt back on top, and then we can plant maple trees back here. Long term, we can have a local source of maple syrup for the beavers. So we then want a... Can I get that there and still get a staircase in, or do we go? Let's just set it back a little bit. So we'll do wheat flour. Do a path. As always, folks, and I always caveat because not everyone watches everything that I do. I don't plan this stuff. I just have vague ideas. We'll then do that. We'll do storage. We'll do bread set to supply. And we will finally do maple pastries set to supply. Means we need to get up there, which means we need our favorite. This is one of the best additions to the game that the devs made, making the curved staircases a base game. And then we do 2 for bread and 2 for maple pastries. These will be wheat flour. Once that's all finally built, that'll be cool. And that will allow us to delete the little bit down here. So it's a part of our long-term plan to remove this stuff and have it be fun things. That's all going in. So let's run at triple speed. Please, game. And the idea in my mind of having diversity of building projects is that the limitation on our dirt supply isn't going to stop things happening. You'll see these guys flashing on and off with their building because we're short on scrap metal, because the mine is struggling to run, because we're short on treated planks, because we used a lot of treated planks earlier on. Things will start to stabilize as we sort out our log supply. This is going to help with that. So we'll let them place all of that. I also want to work on reworking all of this. I it has some flaws, and I don't like the design ultimately that I implemented. So I want to change power so that we can change how I talked about managing bad sides. So we're going to work on that as well. I'm going to have a whole load of stuff stacked up for them to work on, which is possibly not ideal, but you know, is what it is. This is how we do things here sometimes, folks. We need to get all those resources. I'm not going to delete the pumps because that feels like a bad idea. What we'll do is we'll stick a double there, and we'll stick that there. That'll let them get all of that. We're going to do the same here. Now, I don't necessarily need to delete the power generation we've got here, but I'm not happy with the config that we've got, and we do want to be able to do something better for managing when a bad side hits. So that'll let us do that. And what we're going to do is create something better for power over here. So you can't see me moving my hands around, and it's weird. I'm not normally a hand talky person until I play video games and make YouTube videos. So again, this might be initially a little bit messy, and we might do a Mark II. Well, this is Mark II technically already. We might do a Mark III. No plan survives first contact with the content creator. I was going to say the enemy, but I'm not the enemy. I'm your friend. Yeah. So we will need to get over the path because I want to preserve the path. Obviously, this is going to use a fair bit of resources, which is potentially not ideal. And we do need to get back up here. So, again, potentially not ideal. So what we'll do is if we stick one of those jobbies there, we can then stick. So you say you're behaving like you want to connect. There, 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 there. Yes. Right. So we need and bridge. Bridge. So let's just bung a bit of explosives there so we can join bridge. We could longer bridge, but I don't feel like longer bridge. So let's do that, that. And we'll throw that there maybe. Yeah, it's probably inefficient, but hey, we've got so many resources, we don't need to care, right? No, not at all, but, you know, things will improve. Through my super efficient management of the colony, things will improve. I think we should be able to reach across and build that from the corner. So that'll be a thing. That'll connect it up to the top. And then once it's all up at the top, we'll do windmills and maybe some more gravity batteries. But that'll let us put in an appropriate amount of windmills. Oops. Oh well. Sorry, Mr. Beaver. Right, who has nothing to do in range? You have nothing to do in range. Now, that's fine. You can go away. Let's delete you. Let's grab you. H for boom. H for boom. We need to get that placed, and then going to come over here, and we'll just cut back this. Yes, they won't be able to get to all of it initially. That's fine. As we remove the first bits, they'll be able to place the next bits. You, and then we also want to come back here and place those there, and then we can remove those. It is a process. And that is now quite nicely a large bit of irrigated stuffs. So let's throw in. Now, do we be sensible? We should try. Let's see if I do that. Yep, they can plant all of that. So, yes, I'm going to plant all oak trees because we need stable long-term supply, not a short-term injection. Not at that point of the game particularly. So would you believe it? Would you believe it? 1, 2, 3, 4 lumberjacks should be ample. Plant those. Go grab you. Get you. We do need something that says if we're full of logs, don't cut logs. But at the moment, we're far from full of logs. So, you know, let's prioritize getting you in. Let's detonate the stuff we can reach. Put in a bit more pathage. I'm guessing they need more pathage there. Detonate all of that. Give them more pathage down there. Place that bit that I missed. I pressed H, not B. There we go. That'll let us get more in there. We are now 0 on logs again. How close are we to this kicking in? 41%. That's not very close. You are lacking power. You are not connected. Oh, because I put it the wrong way round. If you spotted that and put it in the comments, well done. You were maple syrup. You can be paused for now because they're probably producing more than enough bread. H for boom. That'll let them, with a bit of intelligent pathing, place all of the power generation. That's fine. So you are a supply. We can put dirt on top of the ones that have been made. We are going to need to irrigate this, obviously, but, you know, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And we could use part of what we've exposed for creating the irrigation. I'm going to pause that for now because I would like to increase our maple syrup supply before we start using it to make food. Over here, how are we doing? We are probably just waiting on priority for things. Over here, they're getting to it. They're getting to it. There's a bunch of unnecessary path now, so let's get rid of unnecessary path. Let's place the missing dirt block there. Let's give them a bit more path. That's fine. Scrap metal is still low, I'm assuming, because everything else is low, basically. we need to... We've got a lot of bots, so you should be a bot, because that'll make things happen quicker. H for boom, H for boom, H for boom, H for boom. You guessed it. H for boom, folks. And this is opening up a nice area for planting more trees. So we will need to put some contamination barriers or irrigation barriers in here. That's fine. It will sort itself out, folks. We just need to be patient. I did ponder coming in here and cutting these out, but I'm not sure the resource investment is worth it. So, yeah. Right. Because we're missing one or something. Why doesn't that have power yet? But they just need to finish that. So in terms of irrigating things, there we go. Right. Let's think about automation. So let's copy those up to there. But our capacity for wheat flour is now significantly higher. So let's just quickly come in here and do district stock of wheat. One save. You can be much more complex with your rules. And obviously I have with some things, but I'm not with these. Like I've got with the refinery, you can have it switching recipes and stuff. So that if it's full, you know, if like that's the wrong one, that should be wheat. We can fix that. You know, like if the wheat is full, we switch to processing cattails, and early on that's really useful if you're short of resources, because you can use one to do loads, but we're not at that point now. So what we're going to do is, this is the pause. So oh, we don't need that. We've already got that. So if our district stock of wheat flour is greater than our district capacity of wheat flour times 0.95, we'll pause. And if it's less than our capacity times 0.8, we'll resume. Now, I'm not going to bother testing if we've got wheat, because we're now at a point where we're producing loads of wheat, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. We've got a stockpile of right. Just to save you the fact of watching me set all of that up, I thought it was easy to do it off of camera, so to speak. So the ones that are doing maple pastries, I've literally done what I said. If we've got more than 100 maple syrup in stock and we've got less than 80% of our capacity of maple pastries, we resume. If we've got less than 100 maple syrup or more than 95% of the district capacity plus 100, because the district capacity doesn't account for the fact that each bakery can hold 60, we pause. So apply that to both of those. For the bread, I've done something similar, but not worrying about maple syrup, obviously, and that's just for bread, the bakeries can hold 190 each, so I've done 300 plus 95%. And that should take care of that. Basically, I want most of the maple syrup until we've got a more robust supply to be going into Catalyst for the bots. And that means that we don't have to worry now about deleting what we've got down here. What I want to do now while we're up here, we're going to put in some impermeable floor here. We're going to tell them to demolish those No, they can't get to them yet. We're going to put dirt in those. So we could expand this as well if we want. And we're going to grow some maple trees up here. We will grow some elsewhere as well. And that'll be that little jobby sorted. H for boom. H for boom. I think we can get to those from below. So that's okay. H for boom. H for boom. Blow all of that up. That's got that sorted. We are going to need to get up here because I want to put the contamination barriers up here. And now I don't remember which update it was. You need to have contiguous barriers. You can't miss the diagonals, so we'll get those put in. We might need to come up here as well, because the corners. But yeah, we'll see. We'll get those in, and I guess what we need to do next is think about putting in another forester. So let's see if we can do similar and tuck them on the edge there. That looks like that'll be okay. So let's delete that bit of path. Let's blow those up. Let's double check. Yep, he can plant all of that. And we could maybe demolish more of this, but I think it's more important that we just get more trees growing than maximize the trees that are growing. So let's get our 1, 2, 3, 4 foresters in. Let's grab those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's plant a whole load of oak trees. That. Let's make sure that trees are marked for cutting, folks. That is a useful thing to do. And to unmark the trees down here that can't be planted. Awesome, those are in. So let's blow those up. Delete the path for a second because we're going to need to irrigate this. So put you there. We need a fluid dump. Tank. If we put that there, we'll put you there, and then we'll remove that and we'll put the shack there. So those are marked for cutting. These all need to be marked for cutting. You all need to be marked for cutting. All I want to make sure that you are an bot. We should have storage for fuel is looking low. How much fuel have we got? We've got 200 fuel. That is not good. Let's just go check on our refineries. You are making biofuel. You are making biofuel. am tempted to put in another refinery if that doesn't pick up very quickly. We have a lot of unused bots at the moment, I guess, because we've got a lot of paused buildings. Yeah. Keep an eye on that number for me, folks. Keep an eye on that number. Someone scream if it gets too low. Right, H for boom. This area is a little bit bigger, so I think we'll put forester here. We need to wait a little while for some of this to be resolved, obviously. In the interest of speed of building, I am going to give them access there as well. What has no goods selected? You. Okay, you are Agua, and you are an obtain. Okay, that's that. You are paused because of a lack of treated planks, probably, which is a symptom of a lack of logs. It all comes back to the wood, folks. It all comes back to the wood. But you believe? It feels desperate, but trees be trees, folks. Trees be treeing. So let's just do a little we'll get you in. You can cut down some trees for us, and probably worth us doing that. Let's just cut down all of those as well. Let's give that a little priority bump. How are we looking over here? Most of the way in. I'm debating if it's worth us cutting down all these dead pines. Screw it. I've been staring at these things so long. Don't understand why I didn't just use treated planks. Let's not use treated planks. No, let's not do that. Let's just cut all these things down. There. We are going to need to get through these thorns, but that's okay. We are going to come get those trees. Screw it. But equally, wood. There's a lumberjack in there. Okay. Yes, I know. My singing is awful. It's been a very, very long week, folks, if I haven't mentioned that a million times. And it's only Wednesday when I'm recording this. Yep. Do we want to actually cut some more of this back? Do I just get going on growing some trees? And quit stalling? I do think sometimes do that. Do that. I know this is not efficient. in terms of be the pathing. Be the path, folks. Be the path. Be the path you want to be. Do that. Let's do that. Awesome. Awesome. They're planting trees. They're planting trees. Shortage of resources is really hurting us. 56%. Let's run at triple. Why am I not running at triple speed? I don't know. Sometimes I forget to press the buttons. I'm recording this after an update, so currently we don't have smart power. I said about putting in more paper production, didn't I? I think the way to do that, kind of point some out because we're so short of logs, but I think what we'll do is put another couple of paper mills on the end here. That'd work quite nicely. That would work quite nicely, I think. Yeah, lack of logs is just hampering us rather a lot. I guess I could put another. What I could do is bring you there. 2 more there. Really quickly cut down these minimal amount of trees that are there. You have nothing to do because, yep, flooded building. Oh yeah, this is flooded for some reason, and I don't get why. Let's unpause you. We'll unflood that building because that's closed. That's closed. So I'm not sure why this floods. Lower that. But this is now doing its thing. Why are you not doing it? Because they never got around to building this. So what we can do is, why are you not running? You should be running. Yeah, you should be running. I didn't save the change I made for that, obviously. So we want main pond 1. Save, so script. One of you probably spotted that and was shouting it in the comments. Save, discard, close, save and close. So that one's active now. That one's kicking in. Now, right, that's all working now. So that should fill that back up, which will help with the irrigation of the things that aren't being irrigated. Which is good. Obviously, this would work better and easier if it was sluices, but someone was an idiot. Someone was an idiot. And the power grid here is not massive, so that's an issue. But anyway, let's ignore that. If you ignore your problems, they go away, folks. That's how it works. mark those trees to be cut. Yes. So why aren't you cutting down the trees? There we go. Equally, we should probably give you access down here as well, so that you can cut down those trees. Yep. And maybe, yeah. Guess once we've blasted that down, you'll be able to get those trees. How are we for fuel? We're up to 1,000 fuel now. That's okay then. So fuel recovered rather nicely. That's good. This is hopefully going up now. Let's just watch it for a second. Let's just speed up the game for a second. Not really. This is running at about half efficiency, so that might be why. But what we can do is we can get over here. And we could build... Can we build? In theory, we can build another windmill. In theory, folks. In practice, probably not, because we don't have most of the resources. But, you know, that is a trivial detail. Right, so those are all in. So let's recover the resources from that. Recover that. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's fine. Copy 1, 2, 3, 4, and then plant trees, oak trees, please, and thank you. Cut trees, please, and thank you. And come over here. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Oh, we're all the way up to 29 logs. We've got a lot of gears. I wonder if it would be sensible to temporarily ease up on the old gear production. Because we've got a lot of gears. And that will save some of our planks. So, because obviously planks go into gears. So I think that might be worthwhile to do. And it'll save on some logs eventually. Right, that's all in. Cut trees. You can get a whole 2 more trees. That's all done. So H for boom. Oh, that's loud. Right. I think I wanted to remove that as well. Yeah. You there. You there, boy. And you there. So we'll get rid of that as well. And I think we will then go about there. That'll be where we start placing our oh, am I being dumb? I am being dumb. There. There's you. Cut trees. Cut trees. Mark trees for cutting. Cut trees. Alright, you all have nothing to do now. So delete, 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 delete. You have nothing to do now till I do that. Then if I do that, you'll have job to do again. Hoping, yep, they can reach those. Awesome. H for a boom. Go. You. Go. You. Fluid dump. Forester. We'll tidy up all of these paths in an moment. H for boom. I think we're going to cut back a bit more of this. But let's just place a bit more dynamite. There. Let's go about there. Let's go like that. Again, I just want to leave the front face to give that impression that we haven't completely decimated the going to commit the sacrilege of just deleting some trees. At this point, I know you can go. You can go free. Right. Is this actually keeping up? No. I think predominantly because it's running massively underpowered. So. It's connected to this, isn't it? Power output 450. Now maybe it's not now. Let's go like that. Tap into that. That might be the issue. It's going to give us a little bit more power. And that's obviously not helping with our desire to plant many trees. Up here, we are 72% grown now. Let's start the process of planting trees around here just to get this guy going. Because it's going to take a while to plant all the trees we want. Or probably going to need more than one irrigation pond. So, oh, and over here, super speedy. Let's put in some stairs. Prioritize building those. And then let's plant maple trees. Maple syrup. Yummy. It's good stuff, folks. It's good stuff. Hopefully they can plant all of those. You're going to be an bot because you're quicker. We are actually making some maple pastries. How much maple syrup do we have? 128. Out of catalyst, which is a little bit annoying, but you know, yeah, this guy can plant actually quite a few more. So let's take advantage of that. Plant as many as you can. Get rid of those. So let's depth is maple pond or pont. And then we'll just do a quick if signal pond is greater than or equal to 0.7. Save and close. How deep is it currently? 0.89. Okay, yep, that's fine. So go back in there. We will duplicate. We'll invert. We'll do 0.5. Save and close. Good stuff. We'll just let you work away on that. Brilliant. Yeah, this is not working out as intended, obviously. Let's try and up the power output even more. Getting there, but our log supply is sort of recovering. One more there. Do we go further? Do we go further? So you are you forest 1. You need, let's do that first. No point you being sat there doing nothing. Again, same sort of thing. Now equal to 1.7 or say duplicate, invert 1.5, save and close. And I guess that's as much as we get. Detonate you. And then we can tidy up all of the paths. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that random bit of path there. Delete that bit of path there. Let's leave that so they can reach those because we need them. Let's plant trees. There. It's more than they can actually reach, but that's fine. Mark all of that for cutting. I think we'll actually throw in an extra lumberjack. Because that's potentially quite a large area once it's all kicked in, and then I probably want to run a path through to this corner. Let's delete you. So do I actually stop? Wait a minute, buddy. actually delete all of that, which is a little bit annoying, and come in and fill out this corner as well. Right, let's come down here. Chuck in those guys. Get rid of those ones. They'll do the job quicker. So that's in now. So what we're going to do is one and start in the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to need a path. And hey, there's trees that need cutting down. Get those cut down. Join all of those together. So previously we had 4, which wasn't enough. How's this doing? Now running at its maximum power. So hopefully it'll now fill. Rather than slowly going down, which is what it's been doing. We are at the point where the drought is nearly over anyway, and we're at 84% grown on those, which is good. Yep. We could put in an irrigation pond here if we're struggling with that next time round. We have a path through here. So we can. So there's some trees that are marked. Do we? Yes, we should. We should cut down the trees. 3 trees I'm not worried about. So we'll work on bringing this all to a level as well. We're going to need a ladder there as well. We're going to need a ladder there and there, I guess, so we can eventually work our way down. Get rid of stuff. Did I mark those top ones for cutting? No, but we might as well if we're getting up there. You are a bot, which is fine. What we could do to help out is put you there. Even put 2 of you there. Just because it takes ages to plant a new forest, and the sooner we get it planted, the sooner all the trees will be growing. You know, because that's how planting trees works. And equally, you know, the sooner we cut down all the trees, the sooner they'll be cut down. So you can go, you go. We did mark those to be cut, which is a nice little pocket of oak trees. Drought has ended, which means we should get all of the rest of these planted. Good, and now this has got to that point. we can sort fixing this out, and that is going to mean, unfortunately, deleting this guy. What I'd like to do is, for the purposes of preserving the rules, copy them to there, but I'm going to pause that just because I think we might want to have both. Going to delete that. I'm going to control it off of automation anyway. It doesn't matter if I open that at that level. Only running one of these. Do that, and then we copy the rules, put them there, and that'll be that. And yeah, it's going to let a load of water out, but that's fine because interesting behavior. You know, we could use the water flowing in, to be honest. So yeah, that's that. So we actually want this to have similar rules to grab those. I want to apply them to the sluice. Okay, it won't let me apply them to the sluice. So the other way I can do it is export rules. So Control C, okay. And then let's do that. Grab the sluice, import rules. Because it doesn't do a pause and unpause, does it? No, okay. We're going to have to manually create those. So I'll do that later because we've got a whole cycle to get through first. So that's fine. That's fine. What's the double pause there? Delete. The levy thinks it's paused. The levy thinks it's paused. Okay. Good job, levy. Good job, levy. That is paused, and what we're going to actually do is come in, disable the rules, and pause them. Right, over here, how is Buddy doing? So we're going to need that, which I know placing something that takes 3 logs to get 4 logs is not efficient, but we need to get rid of them anyway. And we need to get rid of that tree, which again is not efficient, but if we want to level the terrain anyway, we kind of need to do that. So, and then explosives. Explosives help with fun. So, well, not you, not you. Yeah, you'll be okay. Again, I want to preserve the edge of the rock face. So let's do to there. Let's give them pathage. See, I've missed a couple of bits, which is fine. We'll just do that. And need to be there. But they should now be able to get to that. We might as well mark it for cutting rather than deletion. Yeah, they can get to all of those. They're all marked to be cut. That's good. They'll get to those in time. The trees are all being planted that bit quicker. Once they've planted everything they can, I'll unmark the stuff that can't be. And what I want to do in this corner is plant that big maple syrup thing. Now we have some trees. Let's delete that, and we're going to put in paper mills. Put that there. We could do with those. So those are now all getting planted, which is great. This is all paving. Very nice, very nice. This I'm just going to have manually set to be closed for now. Everyone's doing their thing. These are built. They've cut down all of the trees. So let's come over here, build a few more of those. Put those there. We're going to come in here. And obviously at the moment we're not getting any water out of these, which is not awesome, but may not get to that. Okay, that's fine. So let's duplicate that. We'll put that there. Delete that. Grab that. Put that there. We're then going to put a fluid dump there and there. Now we're going to make those. That's going to be a 3 by overhang. It's going to be a one of them. And that way we can path there and to there. Now let's sort that jobby out. And then we're going to just go over the top of that. Power, 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 because these are already generating an amount of power. As it stops. And what we want to do is I'll automate these. This is another drought, so we don't need to worry. I'll automate these off camera for when the bad tide is coming, and I'll show you how I've done it. But basically what we do is it's fine. We'll let them keep working on that. Do I want to, can I blow that up now? I can detonate that now. Awesome. My ears. Got my headphones on today. Rarely. It's a rare event that I have them on. Just get that placeable. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, basically what you do is if it's a bad tide, you have this set. And we can set this as well now, once we've got the stream gauge in there, so that it only pumps out when this is like depth 0.7, something like that. So we keep this moderately full, and then as soon as it's a bad tide, we dump water in here and keep it at like 0.1 or 0.9 even, and that will stop bad water coming out of these. That's the approach that I've used in the past, and it works just fine. So we don't actually need a sluice in the bottom to let out bad water, because you don't let it create bad water. What I've done before, and it works reasonably well. I've only used this once before, I say, but it worked. So, yeah. And I'm pretty sure I didn't bother having a sluice in the bottom. Right, so over here, we can detonate that. We're still placing some of those, right? That's been cleared out. Those are marked. That one's not reachable because I've just deleted the thing that made it reachable, which was annoying. Let's delete those. Well, delete, detonate. I guess it would make sense to have a storage right there for dirt set to obtain. We now have 1,000 dirt on hand, so Buddy would cut down that tree, and we need that tree cut down. And the plan will be to basically bring this whole section up the same level. And make it a nice big maple syrup forest. Get all of that in. Like the random order of placement there. There. Get over to that, which is good. You're going to need a bit more pathage, I think. Do that. And that should let them get all of that. Let's mark that as obtain. Right. Let's just tidy this. Right, that's better. And I've got rid of the bonus foresters that we had to help with that. So that needs to grow in. These guys have started, which is cool. So we're now up to 500 logs, so that should help with that. The planks are there now. So treated planks are there now. The scrap metal is coming. Everything's starting to flow, so we can now re-enable those rules. So that'll be good. Everything should hopefully now start to flow with a bit of luck. Well, it's not luck, is it? It was poor planning previously, and we know what poor planning creates and proper planning prevents. So, yeah. So what we want to do is pause you for a start, and I'll sort out the automation of those off camera. We're now generating still not quite enough, which is telling, folks. But what we can do is come across this side, aim to fill this in. We don't necessarily need to do it all with dirt. We could have done some sort of scaffold structure with platforms, but then we can put some more grab batteries here, which will store up more power when the wind is blowing sufficiently, because these should generate plenty of power, really. But they don't seem to be. So, yeah. The other thing that we probably want to do is now be placing these junctions with a whole load more windmills. So let's get these guys going and prioritized, because our demand is significantly higher than our supply, and we're essentially relying on the fact, that's quite amusing, that we had like 1,000,000 HP battery. And once we've depleted that, we're going to be a little bit stuck unless we cheat and rebuild it. And that's not really what we want to do. There is also an achievement for having a power grid where you have 10,000 power generation from wind. So let's work towards that as well. Really, we just need more power generation at the moment. So it's nice seeing the logs going up to a sensible number. This is filling in really rather nicely now. We've got a good stockpile of dirt, so that's cool. We're eating through the scrap metal pretty quick, and now we're not. It shouldn't now be because of being limited by treated planks. So this is where I'm thinking that maybe we do want a second mine. Yeah. Right, you're all planted, so 1. Let's unmark those guys. And B, let's put in the Pepper Shack. And let's go find you. I just use very simple rules for you, but anyway, apply you to that. So, because at the moment we're just about hanging on to our stocks of, we're out of catalyst, because we're not switching. I think we're at the point probably where we want to have separate refineries. Not sure why you don't have metal blocks. Make sure that these are prioritized. Got metal blocks. We don't have paper because we're making a whole load of windmills, but kind of to be expected when you're making a lot of windmills. Hopefully that'll help with our power grid once we've got it reconnected. And then over here, how are we doing now? Yeah, we've recharged now. Doing a thing. So what we could do is delete a bunch of this path and want to think about how tall are you? You're 4. You need a 1. I guess you need a 3. We'll put gravity batteries along here to help with fueling this. Hopefully then this will do a lot better next time. these forests are all in now. I need to sort this out. I mean, essentially, I could just have it set now so that it is like that, and that should work. And this one, the combination of this and this should keep that working in theory. So these guys are still chopping down these trees. We're up to 800 logs, which is quite nice. Yeah. I'm much happier about that situation. The food situation is pretty good. We're not particularly flush with maple pastries because of the maple situation, I suspect, which this will hopefully improve. And when we build our big maple forest, because you build forests, well, we are essentially. Have we used our stockpile of dirt already? We have. Wow. When we've built our forest, then we'll have an even better supply. Let's just do a quick look down our resources. So paper, yeah, not surprised. Therefore books. Pine resin is good. Treated planks should now be going up. And these guys are being kept stocked, which is good. Dandelions, yeah. Antidote's fine. Scrap metal is low. That we need to address next time. Metal blocks is going up. Explosives is fine. Extract is fine. Bot chassis and heads is low for some reason. I'm not sure why that's low, other than the fact that we're probably making lots of bots. And yeah. Not sure. I guess we were low on metal blocks, so maybe that's why they're a bit low. Punch cards because we're low on paper. Catalyst because of the issue that we're using lots of biofuel. So we need to sort out refineries. We need to... I think this is the only other mine. Let's just have a look. So there's a mine there. There is a mine there. Yeah, so given that we want to flood this one, I think we want to be looking at getting access to this mine. So, seeing as we are in here, think about blocking this off, but I think we'll do that next time. We need to get zipline access in there, really, or speed. We could come along here. Yeah, it might make sense actually to come along here and then in, because then we can speed up access to the maples as well. I like that idea. Yeah, let's think about that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. If you're still watching and you're new here and you're not subscribed, think about doing that. And I'll see you all next time.